Hi everyone, welcome back to another year of us doing spooky, scary skeletons. We are doing our 2020 list of Halloween movies that we watched. We are recording this on the day that apparently Joe Biden won the election. So that's pretty wild because I thought we were going to be doing this on the day that Trump got reelected because America sucks. Anyway, but that's not what ended up happening, so that's great. But that's all I'll say about that, unless Kim has any comments.
Nope.
Okay. Hello, I'm Dory, and this is Kim. Both go by she, her. We're back for another year of Halloween movies. Kim, we watched some great ones, and we watched some absolute trash this year.
Yeah.
So we started off with, and we announced this last year, we started off with Ernest Scared Stupid. Now, I had very, very low expectations going into this movie, right? Ernest Scared Stupid.
Here's my pick, by the way.
It was her pick. Ernest is a movie series that I felt already knew had not aged particularly well, and so I knew this wasn't going to go well. Okay, this was the worst film. By the way, spoilers. This was the worst film we watched. It was awful. It wasn't funny. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't good. There was nothing good about it. I don't think there was a single thing in that movie that was good. I think maybe I laughed once or twice in 90 minutes. Kim, did you laugh at all?
No, it's more of a shocker of how bad this movie is.
Kim was like, "Oh, I really liked it as a kid. We should check it out." And I'm like, "All right, it's probably not going to be good," and it was awful.
To be honest, most of his movies are pretty bad.
Yeah, a lot of our movies this year were.
No, I mean Ernest's movies.
Ernest movies. Yeah, we had some mixed viewing this year. Yeah. So after that, we watched. Do you want to talk about that scene with the troll that scared you as a kid?
Yeah, there's just a scene where the girl's on the bed. She turns over and then she sees the troll next door. That is supposed to be a scary part for most kids. I probably watched it when I was 10, so it was pretty scary for me. But
yeah, it's honestly the only good thing about that movie that I can think of is that the troll makeup effects aren't super bad or something. I forget who worked on it. I think someone from Attack of the Killer Tomatoes worked on the makeup effects or something, or maybe it was somebody from a different film. Or I think it was from the Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which we'll talk about later. Anyway, the next movie we watched was Alien. Alien was really good, but it was a bit of a slow burn. Had kind of
slow pacing.
Yeah, very, very slow pacing in the first 30 minutes. And then the next hour it really picks up. And obviously Sigourney Weaver's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Kim, what'd you like about that movie?
Well, yeah, I love Sigourney Weaver. That's about it.
She weaves that acting. That's it?
Well, no, the alien. Okay, so the alien in that movie looked really. The costume was really good.
Yeah.
Is that CG or?
No, I believe those were just rubber suits.
Okay.
But yeah, they were really good. They were really good, especially for their time.
I mean, the plot was great.
The plot was really fun. The action was great. The tension was really good towards the end of the film. So overall, really good film. Just some pacing issues.
What did you give it? A 4?
Yeah, I gave it a 4. I guess I should say both gave Ernest Scared Stupid a 1. And if you can't tell, I gave it a 4, but the pacing really bothered Kim, so she gave it a 3. I don't think it was that bad, but I think it's still a classic, and I think it should definitely be viewed by anyone. This was my second time watching it, actually. I had seen it before, but I hadn't seen it for a long time. But yes, very good. And then we watched the follow-up, Aliens, which we both agreed was much better.
It's our favorite film, actually.
Yeah. Kim, I think you gave it a 4, but that's okay. All the other of your favorites are also a 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like a 2.5 hour movie. But it's paced really, really well. Surprisingly, the first hour is kind of like setup, but it's really good setup. Again, Sigourney Weaver's amazing. The action in this is even better. The pacing, it's a longer movie than Alien, but weirdly enough, it doesn't feel longer. It's just done really, really well. Kim, what's a scene that you really liked?
Trying to remember. It's been a while, but I like the scene where all the aliens are being killed at once?
Yeah, they're being mowed down with the machine guns, or
yeah, machine guns.
The child actor, I don't remember her name, but she was very good in this as well. Made it a bit of a little more of an optimistic film, I guess, in some ways, her being there. But yeah, much better film. I mean, not much better, but for Kim, it was probably a big step upward. For me, it was just like a small step upward.
Have you ever seen it before?
I had actually never seen Aliens before. I had wanted to, but I never got around to it. So I was really excited to watch it, and lo and behold, great movie. My favorite, actually. Next up, we watched Ghost Ship. Okay, so we watched Ghost Ship because of the first 10-15 minutes that has that amazing intro, which is incredibly inventive. And that's the only good thing about that fucking movie.
This was my pick.
Again, this was Kim's pick. The Alien movies were my pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched Ghost Ship just because of that 10-minute intro. And then everything else, completely awful. Lacking any sort of creativity. I didn't understand the plot. The characters were awful. I just... Kim, help me out here.
Well, like throughout the movie, you see little tidbits of the beginning. And like how everyone dies. Well, we don't want to give no spoiler alert.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's a trash film. But, you know, she means at the beginning of the film, right?
It's supposed to be like a horror thriller, I would say, right?
I guess, but there's nothing. But there's nothing scary about it. They have like ooh from like moving doors and like washing machines that start up on their own, basically. Like it's Scooby Doo, right? This might as well have just been a fucking Scooby Doo film that was you know, done with a slightly more adult audience in mind. I don't know. It's just a really bad film.
What did I give that?
We both gave it a 2.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you something. I watched this movie when I was a kid so many times. And I actually thought it was scary. But as I got older, my taste actually got better. Actually, I'd say since I met Doreen, my taste has gotten better in movies.
I would say since I've met Kim, my taste in movies have declined.
Well, you still don't like the movies I pick.
That's not always true. I didn't mind Hocus Pocus. I thought Hocus Pocus was alright. I know that's the first one that comes to mind, but yeah. And Tower of Terror was really good. We'll talk about that later. Next up, we talked about Dracula. Okay, this is going to piss some people off. I'm sorry. I know it's an all-time classic. It doesn't age well. It is incredibly boring. You know, I'm sure Bram Stoker wrote a banger. You know, I'm sure the novel's amazing. And you know the who plays Dracula, I can't remember his name. The guy who played I apologize again. The guy who plays Dracula, he is terrific, but he is the only terrific part of this in a completely blank cast with the writing and scenes all over the place. I think the acting is really strong, but it's so damn boring that I can't really care or get invested.
Pacing is awful, and you can't understand what they're saying sometimes.
Yeah, there's really heavy accents, so sometimes you can't understand what actors are saying, and we couldn't find one with subtitles. Or the one we did pick didn't have subtitles, I should say. So this was a really tough watch for us, and I know it's a classic, and that's why we watched it, but it's just not good. Not for us anyway. You know, again, the guy who plays Dracula, it's not Vincent Price. I can't remember his freaking name. But he's very good. And that's the only part I liked. And everything else kind of sucked. Any additional thoughts?
No.
Seeing movies in black and white is really interesting, too. Just to see, like, those kind of classic movies. We're going to watch some classic movies next year as well. But we'll get to that later. Frankenstein. We were originally going to watch Frankenstein's Bride, but I got confused and we ended up watching Frankenstein. It was okay. I thought it was okay. Kim didn't like it as much as I did. I thought the plot was good and the themes were good and the acting was good, so I thought it was okay. It's still kind of boring in points, though. I give it a 3.
I must have given it a 2. Right?
Yeah, you did give it a 2. Yeah, Kim kind of thought it was...
I just think it was boring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate because these old movies from the 30s and stuff just haven't aged well because pacing demands from audiences back then were different. You know, I get it. It's because of the time period it was made in, right? And it just doesn't age as well. But yeah, you know, it doesn't stop it from being what it is, which is just kind of boring in a lot of places.
I actually believe I already watched it in high school, so
yeah. So. Kim's a horror aficionado, so
yeah, that's me.
Next up on the classics, we watched Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, it was a
That
decent
was
movie.
actually okay. There were some cool themes about greed and capitalism and environmental harm. We both gave it a 3 out of 5. We thought the acting was all right, the characters were all right, the fish monster actually was kind of cool.
Kind of compared to The Shape of Water, right?
Yes, yeah,
And
Shape of Water.
The costume was kind of similar to that, and that was a long time ago. So
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro probably took from, almost certainly took from the Black Lagoon when he was making Shape of Water, which is an excellent film, because of course it is. It's del Toro. Now Kim is taller than me, so cool.
my feet are going numb.
Okay, behind the scenes stuff right there. Tower of Terror. I had, this is Kim's pick. Oh, by the way, I want to, in all fairness, those last 3 movies, they were my idea. I take full ownership. That was my idea. It did not go well, y'all. Tower of Terror. I had very low expectations for this film. Incredibly low expectations. But it was actually good. And I got emotional at a few points. I couldn't believe it. Kim, why'd you pick this movie?
Well, it was a childhood favorite of mine. And it has Kirsten Dunst in it, so that's a good thing, too.
It has Mary Jane herself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what the main character's name was. I can't
Doesn't
remember.
really matter. But, okay.
Oh, Steve Guttenberg. He's in that.
Steve Guttenberg, yes. Steve Guttenberg. And they're all pretty good. They're all really committed to their role. The CG effects are the worst part. They're laughably bad. It is a TV special. It is from the late 90s, but still, oof, those special effects are rough. I laughed a couple times because they were so bad. So the special effects aren't great, and the plot's not super good at first. But as you go, it gets more and more complicated, and it actually becomes a story of love and forgiveness and betrayal. And like, honestly, they put way more effort into this freaking movie than they needed to. Like, they did not have to put in the effort. It's a movie based on a Disney ride, right? Like, they did not have to put in this kind of effort, but they did. So good pick, Kim.
Yeah, I'm good at this.
You are sometimes. Next up, we did a Disney film called Phantom of the Megaplex. Now, this was a childhood favorite of mine. This movie is great. Okay, so I actually laughed a couple times. Mickey Rooney is in it. He's fantastic. Absolutely committed to his bit. I love that he is not at all popular or famous, just kind of treated as a crazy old guy in the movie. But in real life, he's more famous than anyone else in the film. I just think that's really funny and really, like, probably a reflection on the film, but maybe I'm just being artsy. I love the film. I think the mystery is actually kind of decent. Like, I actually questioned, like, I was pretty sure I knew who it was, but they kept throwing curveballs, and I was like, I'm not sure. And then
I guessed it before.
Yeah. Kim, what did you think of the movie?
So, well, I thought it was great because it kind of compared to real life, how everything could go wrong when you need it to go right.
Yeah.
I have that same problem at work, so.
Yeah, it's very relatable too, because the managers are awful. They ask way too much of their staff that they're not paying enough. Honestly, the whole movie has kind of an anti-work message, which is that you should spend more time, especially if you're a kid, to enjoy life and not spend your whole life in a job. You know, even if you're happy there, it's still more important to spend time with family and friends and have a life instead of wasting your life and wasting it in a movie theater, or not in a movie theater, but wasting it at a job. It's really movie theaters that are exemplified, and I should just write a fucking essay about this.
You should.
I love this movie. It made me feel so happy at the end. It's such a feel-good film. Honestly, even the bad guy, even the villain, kind of has a halfway happy ending. Kind of. I mean, it's a double-edged sword ending, but you know, it's a halfway happy ending for him as well, which was nice. It's just a good movie. It's just a silly movie that doesn't take itself very seriously, but clearly loves movies, loves its inspiration. The fake movies in the film are great. I could keep talking about this. Anything else stand out for you, Kim?
Not really. I mean, the characters really, their roles in the movie, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
The kids were really good.
Yeah, everyone was really on point. And the only thing I don't like is And the reason it's not a 5 or whatever, despite my gushing, is I think that that there's a subplot with the mother and the new dad that I think is unnecessary, and just kind of really corny. But besides that, I don't have too much to criticize. You know, the acting's not phenomenal or whatever, but it's good. And okay at worst. So
and
yeah,
you want popcorn, so.
and it made us both
job.
want popcorn. Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, I love this movie.
This was Kim's pick, and it's her second favorite movie. Kim, what'd you love so much about this movie?
So before I watched this a lot when I was a kid, but then when I watched it recently, I had forgotten that it was a musical.
Yeah,
I hate musicals.
So we started off this film, and Kim's like, and I was like, I'm not a big fan of musicals either, but we got to give props. The women of color who are in this film fucking nail it. Like they are the stars of this film, as per usual. Women of color lifting all those other white people, all those white people up so they can have a decent frickin' film, which they should not need to do. They should be the protags, but whatever.
The villain in this movie, what was his name?
I don't remember. Oh, but he's played by Steve Martin though.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a really good villain.
He's a really good villain. He's such an asshole.
But it's funny because he's a dentist.
Yes.
And he's able to hurt people for his job.
Yes, which is kind of creative. I mean, not super creative because obviously a lot of people have fear of dentists.
Me, yeah.
Yeah, great. You too. I don't have a fear of dentists. I've never been scared of dentists. But anyway, yeah, and so this was a fun movie. The musical was really fun. We actually saw the original ending. The one where, well, you know, skip ahead if you don't want spoilers, but the original theatrical cut that was eventually changed, which is a basically negative ending. Basically, I mean, the plants win. But if you think about it, even the happy ending where there's a little plant in their front yard and it looks like, what's the name? Something 2, I can't remember.
Venus Trap?
Well, no. It's after one of the characters, the woman who's...
I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name either. But anyway, it's a good film. And it, I didn't love it, you know, because I'm not super into musicals, but I thought the songs that were there were really good. And the guy who played the plant was really great. I'm sorry I'm forgetting all the names.
Well, it's been a while, so.
Yeah, we watched this over the course of the month, so it's been a little bit since we've seen any of these films, so we're just not going to remember specific details. We're just going to remember the movies in broad strokes. All right, Insidious. This was a cool film. I thought it would be solid, and it is. We're not going to watch any of the sequels because they sound awful, but we are going to be watching Sinister next year.
I feared this movie when it was coming up on the list because I always heard it was really scary, and there's a part where there's a face behind him, and that part is scary too.
Yeah.
But it just reminds me of hell.
Wow. Yeah, but in a good way, kind of.
Yeah. It's a good movie. The plot was great.
Mm-hmm. I think the third act, I agree with other reviewers that the third act's a little shaky. It feels like they kind of lose their way or kind of lost how to get their kid back, but kind of just dug up an answer. And then I didn't really like the ending. I didn't like how it ended.
Yeah.
It felt like a kind of bittersweet ending that didn't need to be there. But it felt like sequel bait, basically, and it didn't need to be there at all. But yeah, good special effects, actually kind of scary and tense in places where it needed to be. The face part was really effective. I did actually jump a little bit once or twice. I actually
skipped that part.
Yeah,
I closed my eyes.
Yeah, Kim closed her eyes once. So this one's a little scarier than some of the other ones on our list. But a good film. I just don't like the ending, and I think the third act's a little shaky. But besides that, it's a really solid film, worth checking out. Next up, I'm really excited, is H2O. Now, last year, we watched the original Halloween, and Kim jumped about 5 times.
This year, I don't think I jumped at all. And
this year, we actually went back to, we went to the drive-in, very, safely with masks and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we went to the drive-in, and
we watched Halloween, too.
We watched Halloween, and then, we watched Halloween before with Possessor. Yeah. We should actually mention, so we'll talk about that later, but we saw a few extra films for this year. So we'll mention those after the list is over. But H2O was really great. And I was really excited to show Kim. I think it's a really underrated Halloween movie. I think it really holds up. I think the plot is good. Curdy, the
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, thank you. Jamie Lee Curtis. I was saying Curdy. Curdy Lee Jamis. No, Jamie Lee Curtis was amazing, and she's always been amazing. So she was great. It was great to see her. The twist that Michael's not after her exactly, but after her son, who is turning the same age as she did during Halloween, was a good twist. There's good like family dynamics and issues of trauma because of what happened to her 20 years ago, and that she's still suffering with that. I think that was really excellently handled. Yeah, Kim,
There's not much really I could say about this movie. I just like the plot.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just introduced to Halloween, what was it, last year?
Well, you also watched Halloween 2018 with me and Ben a couple years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. I really liked it. It is my third favorite, I do believe. Yes, right after Megaplex. All right, next up we watched The Witches.
Oh my
Kim,
God.
what was this about?
So this movie was my pick, and I loved it as a kid. But watching it the other day, I could not remember a single thing from this movie, except for when they were poisoned at the end. That's the only thing I remember, and it was awful. Like would you say that the face mask or
The face masks are the only good part of this film. That the masks are really creepy and really detailed. I think that because Jim Henson worked on this before he passed away, I think, rest in peace, I think that's the only reason that those masks looked as good as they did. But otherwise, I mean, the main actress who does the villain is good.
Angelica Houston, right?
Sure.
Huston?
Yeah, Huston sounds right. Kim with the names. She's great as a villain, but she can't carry this whole film on her back. Like, it's just, the plot is meandering. The happy ending is so.
I was just gonna say that
the happy ending is bullshit. It clearly should have ended where
they were mice.
Where they were mice, and he said he was happy being a mouse. Being a mice. Yeah, he was happy being a mice. You know, going to see mice in Boston, which we couldn't do this year. Stupid virus. Anyway, it wasn't a good film. Kim liked it a little more than me, but not by a lot. I gave it a 2. She gave it a 2.5.
I mean, honestly, I think it was so bad that I wouldn't even see the new one that came out.
Yeah, I've heard it got bad reviews. Also, from Tower of Terror to H2O, which was the previous film, those all got 4s from both of us. So we were all pretty much, Kim and I were pretty much on the same page. All right, we finished off this this horror list very seriously with Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Incredibly serious movies.
Opposites for me.
Yeah. So let's talk about them. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. We both actually like this movie.
I've seen it before, and I actually remembered a lot of it. But
you remember the Sunday part, which I was impressed with.
I remember when the cop became a Sunday.
What else did you remember? Did you remember anything else?
I remember the parts where they're turned into those cotton candy balls.
That's right. You did remember that. What the hell? Yeah, so Kim flexing on me right there with her memory. I've never seen this. I've always wanted to see this. Not always wanted to, but
I always confused it with this movie when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So when I got older, I was like, "Where's the part with the Sunday?" And it wasn't in it.
Yeah. How come Pennywise isn't making people hot fudge sundaes? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, what was good about it? The makeup effects are really good.
Yeah.
The special effects,
great.
The set design is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, like that's the real star of this film. The plot is just okay. The characters are not great.
I mean, yeah, the characters suck because
they just suck. One of the guys pretends to be a Native American because Native Americans inherently know where they're going at all times or some shit. It was racist as fuck. Anyway, it's the 80s, so whatever. Kidding, by the way, not okay. But yeah, he sucked. The cop, one of the cops really sucked, but honestly was an accurate portrayal of what police are. So, yeah. And one of them was like the good guy cop. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good film. I don't know. It's not like great because I think the characters are so weak, but honestly, and the plot's just okay. But the special effects, the set design, the costumes, honestly, just so inventive. Such inventive writing. Not really with the plotting, but more so with how people die. or like what the clowns do.
Yeah,
or
like there's a part with the straw.
It's really good.
That part scared me when I was a kid.
Yeah. So yeah, good things to say. And the good things will only continue from Kim with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, right, Kim?
Boo.
Boo. But that's in the middle.
Boo.
Boo. Okay. I really like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Look, I'm not defending this film. Should you go see this film? No. Is it a good film? No. Do I like this film? You bet your ass I do.
Is it good background noise to a sleeping party? You got it.
I love how serious you were. We're going to cut that out. We're not going to. I don't have the technology. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, I thought was genuinely funny. It was stupid. It's a dumb, stupid movie. Throw it. I kind of agree with Kim. Throw it in the background for a party. Pay attention every now and then. It's a dumb film. I enjoyed it. Kim, tell the fine folks why you didn't. This was our biggest division, by the way. I didn't expect this, but Kim hates this film, and I actually kind of like it.
It's stupid.
But I like its stupidity.
Tomatoes. The tomatoes are rolling around going.
But it's so dumb. It's lovely.
It's not even about not clowns, but tomatoes killing people. It's about like capitalism.
It's really about bureaucracy and governments and the inefficiency, and it's a riff on like Godzilla movies. It's really wonderful. All right, so we're not going to agree on this, but my top on that. But I will say my top three were Aliens, Megaplex, and H2O.
Mine were Aliens. What is the name of it? Little Shop of Horrors and Insidious.
Yeah. And then for extras this year, we went to go see Halloween in the drive-thru, and then Possessor by Brandon Cronenberg. I have never seen a Cronenberg film. Wow, consider me impressed. Brandon Cronenberg, that was probably the best horror film we saw all month.
Yeah, it was really good.
If that was
Very
part of the
gory.
list, that would be my number one. Possessor was amazing. I highly recommend it. It's very white knuckle, like thriller action kind of film, but I highly recommend it. It's really good. We also saw the original Halloween, which of course we've reviewed last year, so go check that out. And then we saw Halloween 2, the original.
That was good.
And that was actually pretty good. I thought it was like an above average horror film. It's definitely not as good as the original, and they really didn't need to make another one. But it was good. I really liked it, and I thought a lot of it worked. There was definitely some parts that don't, some egregious parts that don't really need to be there. But yeah, overall I thought it was good. All right, Kim.
You want to go over the list?
Yeah, let's go through our list for next year.
All right, so let's go. You start.
All right.
That's your pick.
Sure. So we're going with The Mummy.
Not it's the old version, right?
And it's the old one, not with that hunk of a man, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. Then I chose Sinister for the next movie, right?
Yep. And
I just heard it was the scariest movie of all time, so I figured, why not? Let's see if it really is.
It's not going to be. Invisible Man, the original, not the new one.
Terrifier. I wanted a clown movie in this, and I'm really scared about this movie, but whatever.
We reserve the right to change movies if Kim becomes too scaredy cat. And we also got all 15 movies done this year. We weren't able to do that last year because we didn't get to the Blob, but we did get all 15 done and then some. We actually watched like 18, 19 horror films.
You did really well.
We almost watched 20 horror films in a month, which is just amazing. Okay, after Terrifier is Wolfman, the original.
And then Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. It's a Disney movie.
Yep. And then we are going to be watching Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is a meta sort of late 90s Nightmare on Elm Street, which I really love.
Jason X. So
that'll be good. And then we are going with sort of a barrage of short villains. Trolls 2.
Curse of Chucky.
Cult of Chucky.
And a Leprechaun in the Hood.
Now, Leprechaun in the Hood is certainly going to be a very offensive and cringy movie. That's kind of why we're watching it, because I'm honestly curious how bad that film is. It's got a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm very curious how this film is going to go. Okay, and then Kim, what's the next one?
Black Swan.
We are watching Frankenweenie after that.
And then 28 Days Later.
As the final film. Or we reserve the right to also switch things around. So we might mix things up. But I like how things are right now because we've got the classics spread out. And then we've got all the short enemy.
We kind of have interchanging picks, like one's mine and one's yours.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah. And then we have some collaborative picks towards the end. We haven't watched any of the Chucky movies during these years. So
we decided we're going to do it.
Yeah. And these are the more recent ones that have gotten pretty good reviews. So we're excited to check those out. Kim, any final words, Kim?
Well, let's see. Toodaloo.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
You're not just kidding. You said it.
I say it every year.
You say it every year. Okay, well, thank you so much to those who joined us. This was a 30-minute video, which is a bit longer than I think we usually go, right?
I thought we went 45 last year. Was that the Kingdom Hearts video?
That was the Kingdom Hearts video. We went like 50 minutes. Maybe we'll have a review from Melody of Memory when it comes out.
Yeah.
Because that comes out next week. Okay, well, thank you so much to everyone who joined us. We are going to be back next year to do more horror movies, and hopefully it's, those movies are not as scary as 2020 has been. But it's looking a little brighter anyway, even if I don't really care for Joe Biden either. Damn it, I said that was the last thing I was going to say about it, Kim. Haha, just kidding.
Toodaloo.